This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
It's a new year
and a new season.
24/7 Buff fandom is
It's a family.
a passionate group of positive Buffalo football fans
to embrace the character and fight of this team
We strive to embody this passion.
and present a fan-first perspective.
without all the fluff.
Enter
the K-Gun Report.
Season 2.
The first season was exciting for 24/7 Buff fandemonium.
Talking football, connecting with fans, and having quality conversation.
This season, we're stepping it up, and we want you all to come be a part of the conversation.
On March 9th, 2021,
The K-Gun Report
Is
back.
let's go, Buffalo!
This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. this is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 24/7 Buff Pandemonium presents the Gun Report Season 2, Episode 6. Joining me tonight, we have Swank.
Yo!
And Scott.
Hey!
And of course, I'm Jared. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Of course
Tonight,
you are.
It's me. It's Jared.
It's Jared. It's
Mario.
There you go. Tonight's giveaway, 2006 Bowman autograph Donte Whitner rookie card.
Boom.
That's a nice signature, and it looks like it's almost near mint as far as
Yeah, it's a
condition.
pretty good condition card.
It's not graded, but the corners look sharp.
Yep. There we go.
I
He's
got
the
it
eighth
popped
pick.
up big and close for you on the
There you
screen
go.
right now.
He was the 8th pick by the Buffalo Bills. He played 11 years, and 5 of them was with Buffalo. When he left Buffalo, he didn't have very nice words to say about our team, but when he was here, we loved him.
That's true.
If you leave a comment tonight during the show, during the live feed, you will get that card, and then we'll also send you a free 24/7 Buff Pandemonium card.
Oh, disclaimer alert, buddy. You said if you leave a comment, you'll get that card.
Oh,
If you
yes.
leave a comment, you have a shot at winning that card. We do a
'Cause
draw.
Get your shit together.
You will go
We don't
on the
have 30 Donte Whitner signed rookie cards hanging out.
You're right. If you leave a comment tonight, you'll be in the drawing on the Pandemonium Wheel of Fame. We're going to switch up the name every week.
Sweet.
And
Wheel
then
of Destiny.
Wheel of Destiny, we'll twist that up, and then we'll let everybody know tomorrow night who the winner is. How's that sound?
That sounds just great, Jared. Thanks.
All right. And Scott, we have the 24/7 BF black and white shirts on again. I swear he cleans it before he puts it on the next week, fellas and ladies and gentlemen. So, but yep, that's how you get it. You can leave us a comment in our personal message, give us your size, Venmo over, and then you can get one of those and be cool.
Yeah, that Venmo is down in the ticker down there.
Yep. Yeah, we would like to thank Jim Conti. He just got one, and he showed it off on the fan page, so check it out. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, hell yeah, Jim. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Appreciate it very much. All right, let's get going for the show tonight. Listen, we like to do this past week's news. We're going to start right off the bat. The signing of offensive line Forrest Lamp, 6'4", 310 pounds. He was drafted by the LA Chargers in 2017 in the second round, 38th pick overall. He played in 25 games. He started 18. In 2020, I already had 1 penalty. Scott, do you have any more stats on this young man?
2 sacks, 1 penalty. I know people were worried about his broken fibula that he had in 2019. But any injury set aside, like you said, he played the whole 100% of the snaps in 2020. I think the fibula is okay. And some other stats, 18th in rushing, the Chargers were, and 6th in passing. So it's not like they were on some slub of a offensive attack team. So their offense was still pretty good. And he was protecting a rookie quarterback. So I like him. I think he'll, I have to apologize last week when we signed the guard, I said he would be left guard. I forgot that John Feliciano actually was on the left side, not the right side. So I apologize for that mistake. Feliciano will now be the left guard. Lump will be our right guard.
Lump or lamp?
Lamp. He's Lamp. Guys, and I just want to throw this out there. The Bills do keep 4 guards on the team, on the active roster. Right now we have Feliciano, Bodker, Douglas they signed last week, Cody Ford, who's from tackle, can move to guard, Jordan Devy, and then Forrest Lamp. So there's 6 on the roster. We keep 4, so we got to start thinking about who's going to be cut.
Yeah, we got that nice little graphic that you made, Scott, up there. It also says that he played 100% of the snaps last year, so that's huge, man. He's a starting guard, you know. We also we got Ken O'Daniel stopping in saying Lamp isn't a bad pickup. I agree, man. He's either going to be – I think he's going to start. If not, he's going to be some of the best depth that you can get in the NFL right now. So kudos to Beaner.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's been doing for the last couple of years is just getting some names in here to be able to start, but also loading up the backups. And that's, like we've spoke about this in the past episodes, depth is very important in the NFL. And it looks like he's pulling the right guys to get in here. Awesome.
That's right. Can I?
All right.
I want to get at some of the people that have been in the comments, if I can, Captain Jared over there.
Do it up, man.
All right, we got Alberto Rivera back. What's up, Alberto? No more dabs tonight. We got Chris Christian. We got Mike Vogt. We got Robert Bedette. What's up, Robert? We got Buffalo Spartan says, sup, fellas. I think he's
Spartan!
he's a newer guy. So thanks so much for coming and hanging out. And yeah, I think that's about it. We do have Mike Voigt saying that if you're using Febreze before you come on for the show, it doesn't count as cleaning that T-shirt, Scotty.
Okay.
Right. How about Axe body spray?
Yeah, right.
I must say, it does look pretty mint.
It does.
Well,
Fresh and crispy.
Mm-hmm. Fresh and so clean.
All right, so not many moves. Bills didn't make too many moves this past week like they have in weeks previous. But another thing we're going to touch on that actually happened today. Good old Marv Levy has been inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
to be quite honest with you, I knew he had some coaching in the Canadian Football League, but I didn't know what his successes were. So I don't know if anybody's looked anything up. If the Fandemonium knows anything about Marv leaving the Canadian Football League, let us know. But any of you two know what he did in the CFL?
I know his journey through the NFL, not much of the CFL stuff, but knowing what he did in the NFL, I'm pretty sure he probably deserved the Canadian Hall of Fame. So good for him. Congratulations, Marv Levy.
Yeah, what a great coach.
Where would you rather be than right here, right now?
Right. That's
A
one of
boot
his
anywhere.
all-time quotes. A boot.
There you go.
I know if you're about our age range and maybe older, you got the chance to see Marv Levy do his magic in Buffalo. It's very much appreciated. It's good to have McDermott back in here doing what he does, because we get to see a great coach lead these Buffalo Bills once again. And again, congratulations, Marv Levy, all-time best, man.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's touch on also happened today. Apparently, Erie County, it's where the Buffalo Bills play their ball, have given the idea that the Buffalo Bills are able to possibly host 100% attendance for their home games. And that's, I don't want to get political here, but it all depends on if you were vaccinated or not. So apparently, as of right now, if you're vaccinated, you'll be allowed in. If not, then you're no go. But we'll see what that does in the next couple months, how that's going to change. But exciting news that they're looking to try to get everybody into that stadium.
Well, you kind of had to know that that's what the stipulations would be. I mean,
yeah,
they got the 2 vaccines out there, and they're going to push hard for that. So we got a long time before those decisions are actually made final. So it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out.
Yeah, we have Jim actually posted an interesting question. What would Josh Allen do if he has to get the vaccine, even though he doesn't feel like he should? You know what I mean? And
right,
that might be something that you run into with players that like feel so strongly about it that they're not going to. So, do they not play?
That's a tough call.
Yeah,
it's a tough call. If you're going to make all the fans get vaccinated, and then you're going to allow the players not to have to. I mean, granted, they're way further than 6 feet away, but they're still amongst one another. So
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what the rules the NFL puts down as far as players getting vaccines.
It's more of the attendance of the people coming to the game, I feel, because they're all going to be jammed in one another. In a way to keep it safe for the attendance policy and make sure everything's all right is to have everybody do the proper things to get in the games. Now with the players, I feel like they did it all last year. Why not? If they don't feel like they want the shot or get vaccinated, maybe they're just gonna, just keep your distance when you can, mask up, and just do what you did last year. And I think, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of months. But I got a feeling that if players don't want to get it, they're not going to make them. They're just going to make them wear masks all the time still and do the protocol that we saw in 2020.
I don't know, man. That it might get a little chippy, because you're gonna have like way different feelings about that. I don't see Josh, like if it becomes mandatory that the players get it, I don't see him sitting out or like missing time with his guys after the run they had last year just to like make some kind of statement or prove a point.
Right.
But I do think that there's guys in the NFL that absolutely will, so it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, we shall see as time goes on. Time goes on. All right, so Fandemonium, we will be talking about, sorry, my phone went off. I apologize for that. Today's special, what we're going to focus on is the NFL draft, again, like we did last week, but this time it's on the defensive side. And I know everybody has their opinions on that. As Scott posted a mock draft earlier this week, he got busted up for, which is always We encourage that. We encourage conversation. But I know Swank's super happy about defense this week. Scott, you have anything to say about that post?
No, it's just one of those things. I look on websites. I look all over the Bills websites, and there's a lot of people that are getting excited about the draft. So they're putting out mock drafts, and Bills fans everywhere, they have to understand people do mock drafts because they like to do them, and they like to think that they kind of know what the Bills are going to do. And whether it's getting a defensive end, linebacker, safety, whatever it is, we're not McDermott. So the decisions we make aren't going to happen. So there's so much negativity about, if I were to pick Jalen Phillips and move up in the draft, that's a dumb move. Why would someone trade up like that? Do you even know football? Do you know what you're talking about? How about, hey man, I don't think that's the right move. Let me tell you what I think. That's the better approach to having a conversation. You don't have to agree with me or agree with these other mock drafts, but you got to understand that you can go to sleep at night. I'm not McDermott. These other guys aren't the coaches. This isn't the final decision. They're having a fun time doing it. So.
Oh, you mean the front office didn't pull a lottery and get your mock draft and that's it?
No, believe it or not, we're not going to give up a bunch of picks to move up 5 spots and get Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, here's the thing, because we were talking about.
And
this
if they
before,
do, then good for me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, then you look like a genius, dude. Keep all the receipts and just throw it in everybody's face, right?
Yep.
It's fun, man. We're all bored. It's fun. That's why we do this show. That's why we run the site and the page. It's fun. We love the Bills. We'd be doing this whether there was 15 or 20 or whatever, 2, it doesn't matter. We were doing the show and there was 2 people that were watching. We were running the page and there was you guys, when you started it, there was 100 people, right? So it's now it's up to 5,500. We have t-shirts, we're hanging out, we're having a good time. We love you guys. We love the guys that participate, and there's trolls out there. So be a troll, but just know, we're having fun.
We're having fun.
We love the Bills.
And trolling's fun. You got to laugh at the trolling. It is kind of serious. And I joke around. I said there's about 500,000 of them out there, but they're all the same person. So you know who you are. Mike Vogt says, did you make all the picks for the first round for that mock draft? Yeah, Mike, I tend to amp it up a little bit, and I do a little research, and that's what a lot of people need to do before they mock and knock what other people do with their mock drafts. I do the research. I figure out what teams need. I figure out I develop my own top 5 for each position. I have a mind of my own, and I can decide by watching film who's better at what position. And yeah, I all 32 teams I did myself, and it's just fun. And every mock I do, I base it on, okay, I'm going to try to get a linebacker this round. Okay, I'm going to try to get a defensive end this round. And that's how it's a lot of fun. And like I said, I amp it up. I make it so the position value is amped up, the randomness is down, and then the increase in value and draft need is up. So it's a hard task, but it's fun to do. Do it up.
So what site do you use to do that? Maybe
I use the PFF mock simulator, and there's another couple mock. Just do NFL draft mock simulators. You'll find a lot of them.
Mock simulator.
Cool.
Sorry.
But the PFF one gives you a grade.
If you guys are watching right now, or if you're watching later, do a mock draft. Throw it up. Compare it up to Scott's, man. That's why we got him up there. So
you got to be an A-.
No, but that's the thing.
That you self-graded it an A- when you were posting it.
That's the actual site.
Look what I got.
That's what I thought he was doing. This one's like an A-.
No, that site mock. They grade it for you. I mean, they're not coaches either, and they're not general managers either. But those guys do a lot more research than anybody I know, so they kind of know what they're talking about as far as that goes. And an A- when that came up, I was like, okay.
Just remember, man, all those guys were Josh Allen haters. All of them.
True.
Until this year, they all hated Josh Allen.
But guys, I tell you, when I do the mock draft, rip me apart. I actually it humors me, because some people it really does bother, and I find it laughable because I go to bed at night because I had fun doing it.
You had fun doing it. That's all. I want to share what I'm doing, and it's fun. Let's see what happens. And 99% of the time, you get positive reactions, but it's just fun to get those guys, and they're the same guys all the time. Oh, what are you doing? All right, guys, quick. Joey Hatch says Marv Levy's first coaching job was with Montreal in the CFL from 1973 to 1977. His win-loss record, I don't know if this is correct, 143 and 122. That's a lot of games within those years, but I'm sure he had a winning record with Montreal. And then he came to Buffalo. No, actually, what team did he start with? Do you guys remember? Was it
Washington or Chiefs?
Washington? Yeah. Chiefs. I think it was Chiefs.
I don't know.
All right. You guys want to get in? All right, Fandemonium, let us know who you want for the number 30 pick. And like I said, we're going to go a step further. If we don't get who we want then in that position, then we're going to throw out a guy's name that we could get later on in the draft in that same position. I'm going to start actually Swank.
Yo.
I know you were talking last week how you're really excited about the defensive side, and that's who you think the Bills are going to be going after first. So I'll let you lead the way. What position and what player do you want?
Well, as I said, I'm not a big draft head, so I get by. And I think what I'd rather do is throw out the position and maybe have my boy Scott elaborate a little bit more on who would be the best pick. So, again, I am not a draft expert, but I know where the needs lie. And I will say, with my heart of hearts, the thing that I hope that they draft with pick number 30 is a CB2. What do you think there, Scotty boy?
All right, Swank, that's kind of what I was hoping you would say, because I know you like me, Scott's the best at it, and we're kind of on the lower end. But yeah, see, that's what I was trying to get at, is you want CB number 2. Yeah. Scott, what do you got for CBs?
I have, and like I said, I do the mock drafts, and I continually get 5 to 6 corners going in that first round. The cornerback depth is huge this year. Which makes me okay with them skipping out on corner over the first round and having still a decent starter, even available in the second. But the top cornerbacks right now are Patrick Surtain, J.C. Horn, Asante Samuel, Greg Newsome. There's 4. Caleb Farley. There's 5, and then there's Aaron Robinson, Tyson. There's a lot of talent there, and it's basically what you prefer for CB number 2. Let's keep in mind Trey White, top corner in the league, lockdown, does a great job. A lot of these guys in the first round, they're big. They're all 6 foot plus, 200 pounds. It's something that the Bills haven't had. Norman is a good size, but physical defensive backs in the first round. Me personally, the Patrick Surtains and Asante Samuels are the ones getting the highest grade, but when you watch the film, the guy I think would be best opposite side of Trey White is someone that's going to literally manhandle the wide receivers. This guy beats up opponents. He kills guys in the press, and he's got the lowest completion percentage in the SEC. His name is J.C. Horn out of South Carolina, 6'1", 205 pounds. Unfortunately, I have him going to the Chargers, but if he's someone that can make it to the 30th pick, J.C. Horn would be perfect for the Buffalo Bills. Big body. You got Trey White closing off the wide receiver on this side, and you got the wide receiver on the other side that can't even get off the line. That's yep.
Yeah,
you want
like
run
that.
support? This guy run supports. He tackles, and if the quarterback's not going to be able to drop back in 2 seconds and throw the ball, he's going to have to hang on to the ball and see what that wide receiver is going to do. It basically takes away the whole side of the field differently than Trey White does, but the same effectiveness. So I think J.C. Horn would be good at that pick.
That even sounds like a football name, J.C. Horn, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right. So I just have 2 names written down because these are 2 guys that I really looked at a lot, and that was Patrick Surtain and Asante Samuel. Correction on your part, Scott. Asante Samuel's 5'10", 184, so he's not a big guy.
He's the only one that's small.
Yes, but Patrick Surtain from Alabama, 6'2", 202 pounds. Now, if I was to pick one of those guys, I think I'd have to go with Patrick Surtain. He's a technician. He won the Jim Thorpe Award for best cornerback in the country. He's in the hip pocket of these receivers on every play from the film I've seen. He plays the field well. He's very hands-on. So I feel like if the Bills don't get him and somebody else does, like Tampa Bay Buccaneers or New England Patriots, then those hands-on, and Kansas City will say, those hands-on abilities are going to just make him even better, because those are some of the teams that the NFL likes to let play. He was very good in end zone battles, very focused, and he had good catch-up speed. Again, he's a 6'2", 202-pound cornerback.
How many?
200-something pounds. 200-something pounds.
220 pens?
Two.
Jared, the big thing, the positives I have with his coverage, and you can see it on film. If anybody stretches that sideline, he does what they call squeezes the
Squeezes
sideline.
him down. Yep.
So he squeezes them right down. He narrows the play off, and that's the best way to get away with pass interference without putting your hands on the guy. And you know what proves that? Is the fact that he did not have one penalty called against him last year.
Because he knows how to use the field.
So the problem is, if he comes to Buffalo, you know he's going to rack up the penalties, because that's what people like to do, is to throw the penalties on those fake interception calls and all that stuff. Remember Swank, that game?
Oh, I do. I do recall.
Hey, as Swank, I mean, wouldn't you love to see someone that just manhandling the wide receivers on this side?
Yeah, man.
And then locking down the other wide receiver on this side.
I'd love to see somebody that was so physical at the line they popped them off their game, definitely staggered off the route, maybe even pushed them out of bounds so they couldn't touch the ball when it came back in. You know what I mean? Like, get somebody who's really grimy and physical over there. Also, I say the CB2 thing, and Alberto, he agrees with me because he's not a big draft guru either, but you can never have too many cornerbacks, right?
Yeah.
I think Levi, I mean, I know a lot of people hated on him, but he's gotten nothing but better every single year that he's played, and he's beaten out anybody that they brought in to compete with him. You know, so maybe you draft another guy, maybe a Dane Jackson is going to come up and challenge him more. I really liked, I mean, I know all of us liked his level of play last year, the little bit of time he got on the field. But yeah, man, I mean, you got to mix up the body type. You got to have different guys. I mean, if you got a big lug of a physical corner and then a speedy guy slips by him, you still got Hyde and Poyer back there to contend with it. So I'd rather have somebody disrupting routes all game long and maybe miss on a couple than, you know, somebody that can't really hang. So
yeah, that's
Jared,
a good point.
Jared, your guy Asante Samuel, that you mentioned, he is a smaller guy. I actually have him watching this film. I think he would be superb as the slot. So I think if they drafted Asante Samuel, I don't think you'd get your CB number 2 Swank. I think you would get your automatic CB number 3 nickelback.
And if you think if they're
with Dean leaving and all that stuff too, I mean, we got Dean Marlowe gone. We definitely need a little bit of help over there. So.
Well, you bring up a good point, Scott. That's what I was thinking when Swank was mentioning Dane and Levi, is the fact that we might already have our number 1 and 2, and we're just looking for a nickelback type of receiving downs cornerback like Asante Samuel Jr. Now, when I watched the film and I compared Patrick Surtain and Asante Samuel, two different guys. Patrick Surtain was hands-on, man-to-man, and Asante Samuel played back in the zone a lot. He got a lot of picks because he was always in the right spot. Both these guys are like Ed Reed. They always were finding a way to be next to the ball, and when you're there, turnovers come up, you're getting them. So
in that Florida State, they did play a lot of heavy zone schemes, Jared. So that you did say that correctly. Yeah. And then you nailed that. Good job.
All right, just a reminder, we got some new watchers. We got some new watchers on the K-Gun Report. If you leave a comment while you're watching the live stream, you will be put on the wheel for this drawing of this Donte Whitner rookie card signature.
Nice. Good looking card.
Na.
All right, so obviously Swank's loving the defense. He went with CB number 2. I know a lot of people will agree with that. Let's go to the safeties then, because you did mention Hyde and Poyer. Scott?
Jared, I know you wanted to mention who potentially could be in the later rounds.
Go ahead.
Look for names like Aaron Robinson, Tyson Campbell, Tay Gowan, and that guy from Syracuse is fast. Fiatu Mekafawu. Jack that up. But like I said, I mean, if they're okay with Levi Wallace and they got Taron Johnson, who's more of a run stopper, great tackler, if they're looking for someone, if they're okay with that, then they can definitely get a CB number 3 in the 2nd and 3rd round, and they'll be available. There's a lot of corners in this draft.
Now you go ahead, Swank.
If you enjoy the Reed twins mispronouncing names, please join us on April 29th, 2021 for the NFL Draft Party. The K-Gun Report will be live with the 3 of us right here from the Swank House. And it'll be all night, and we'll be watching the picks and drinking beer, and I'm going to have a list of names that I'm going to make these 2 pronounce, and it'll be a great time. We'll probably give away a shirt or something, too. The House of Swank on draft day, 24/7 PF. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
We also have a mini helmet, Andre Reed, that's going for sale.
Oh, that's right.
On the Destiny, Wheel Destiny.
Right.
Joey Hatch Jr., welcome. Ellen Reed, I think I know her. Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome to the party.
Tony and Paula, welcome. Adam Caldwell, welcome. Leave a comment. We'll get thrown in there. All right, so we're going to stick with the safety. Scott, you just mentioned that Fawubu from Syracuse.
Don't say it again.
My favorite guy from Syracuse is a safety, Andre Cisco, Syracuse, 6 foot, 209 pounds. Right there, I have a different note over here, but he plays very well, very well. He's a ball hawk. He's one of those hit stickers. He comes up and puts his helmet on people. He's one of those players, again, who is around the ball all the time. It's just awesome to see. And he's a Syracuse guy, so we like to root for them here in New York. That's one of the names, Andre Cisco. I don't know where he's projected to go. But Scott, who do you have for safeties that you'd like to see possibly try to get at number 3? This is why I say safety at number 30, before you get started, is because our two guys back there, the most underrated tandem, but the best tandem in the NFL, they are getting older, as they all do. And, I don't know when the proper time is to start getting players to train them to replace them in the long run, but I feel like we might have to approach the safeties eventually. Scott, at number 30, if there's a safety, who is it?
So the only safety I have going in the first round is a guy named Trevin Morig. He plays for TCU. I see Jacksonville getting him at 25. I see a lot of safeties going in the second and third round. Your guy, Andre Cisco from Syracuse, is projected to the 4, so he's potentially available late. Okay. You said you like him because he's a ball hawk. He runs a 4.340 as a safety at 6 foot, 210 pounds. That's booking it. Jesus. His knock is that he gambles. He takes risks. You watch him get beat a bunch of times. His risk reward is.
Dude, I really thought when you said that it was like a Michael Jordan thing. Like, he hits the casinos hard. Like, he's on the crap table.
He gambler. He bets on everything.
All you need to say is I'm Michael Jordan.
Oh, he did. That's right. He takes risks. He's very aggressive. But here's when I start talking about a player we could potentially draft, and I think about I talk about their negatives, because every player has negatives. They're out there. We got to think about the Bean and McDermott, how they treat their draft picks, right? I jacked it up last week because I couldn't remember what their saying is. But they draft, they develop, and they sign.
Bam, got it now.
A guy that's aggressive, a guy that takes chances, you love that. This guy actually reminds me a lot of Poyer because he comes up in the box, he hits the running back, he finds the hole, he tackles people in the backfield for losses. But a lot of times he'll get caught in that play action, come up and get beat deep. So that's a lot of learning to do. But I mean, he's a Poyer-esque type of player.
I said plays the box very well.
And if you can get him at 4, you do it. You get him at 4, you do it.
Mike V says their kind of talent is hard to replace in regards to Poyer and Hyde. That's true, and we got them locked up for the next couple of years anyway. But this might be the time to start, like you're saying, priming the next guy. You get somebody who's a little more, risk-taking, as a rookie, that's reckless. But if you can hone them instincts to make him become a Poyer-esque kind of player, like, hell yeah, man. I think any rookie talent that comes on this team right now, there's no position that is so weak where they can't learn from a really good player. There are very good veterans peppered all over this team on both sides of the ball at this point. So, yeah, man, I think go for it. That sounds good. I should have prefaced all of this with, like, for me, I am that guy that's, like, best guy available at this point. I think aside from them picking a QB or a kicker, like, I'm good with pretty much anything that they do first round wise.
Yeah, it's because you believe that whatever decision they make, it's going to be the right one.
Yeah. Well,
with these two guys,
right? I mean, they've just drafted out of their mind, free agency out of their mind. So, are we good with safeties?
I just want to mention one more thing. Then we'll go a little bit further.
Sure.
A guy who is in the Hall of Fame that took a lot of risks as a player, and everybody loved watching with his hair, and he wore that number 43 for the black and yellow. Troy Polamalu. He's a guy that would jump over the line of scrimmage, take risks, and look where he is now. Risks are good to take if you have somebody backing you up that knows what they're doing, right? So if you have a team that's developed like the Buffalo Bills have, we need a risk.
I'll say that, but you got somebody like Adams who
blitzes all the time.
Well, I'm just saying, like, these are this is the same scenario you got Troy Polamalu, who's like a responsible player, right? Who owns a team, whose instincts were honed and dialed like so sharply that, like, until he started to lose a step, there wasn't a whole lot getting by him, right? But then you got somebody like Adams who has a shitty attitude, and when the game's not going his way, he decides he's going to put it on his shoulders and then ends up costing teams the game. You know what I mean? So there's two sides to that coin. You got to get the right personality in here. Obviously, Buffalo's got a really good foundation for breeding solid talent. So I obviously, they do their homework. So I wouldn't expect it to go the other way. But just something to be leery of, I think.
Joey Hatch and Mike both say bring someone in young while they're still here. They have a lot to teach them. Great point, Swank. Great point. Good agreements, Joe and Mike. Swank, what do you want to hit up next?
I want to hear about some defensive ends, man. That's the exciting part, I think. That's the bread and butter. That's the mush.
All right, so I'm going to start with defensive tackle Jalen Phillips, 6'5", 266 from Miami. Hybrid. They say he's a hybrid of the Watt brothers, which isn't a bad hybrid to be. From the film I've seen, he's got good arm extension, good separation. He's patient on the option plays. He never quits. He's running down people. Very, very fast kid, too. That's if we can get him at 30, if not trade up to get him. But Jalen Phillips. How about you, Scott?
Okay. My last mock draft had me trading up for Jalen Phillips. For a lot of the points that you said. Remember, earlier in the show, I said if you watch some film, you can make opinions on yourself. And yes, you can go after the Kwity Pays or the Jason Owas, but you got to start looking at what the Buffalo Bills, what they like at their defensive end. You don't have to look very far. When they brought in AJ Epinesa, he weighed 280 pounds. What's the first thing that the Buffalo Bills did? They told you that he's not game ready. They're going to work him into the system, and they're going to try to develop him, right? He's 260 pounds now.
Look how he finished last year.
Jerry Hughes, Mario Addison. The Bills are looking for that 6'5", 6'4", range, 250, 260-pound defensive end, right? Jalen Phillips, 6'5", 266 pounds. The guy is the perfect Bills mold, and they don't have to have him gain any weight. They don't have to have him lose any weight. He's got a chop and rip that's pretty amazing. He's got an inside spin. He's got a bull rush.
Bam, bam, bam.
I actually mark him higher than Kwity Paye and Jason Owa when it comes to our Buffalo Bills defensive line.
You said that out loud?
Yes. That's why I had him. That's why I had us jumping ahead of the Browns and the Ravens in the mock draft that I did, because the Browns and the Ravens, they got Garrett and they know their defense, right? So do the Ravens. They know what I know when it comes to defensive ends. No, I'm just kidding. But he won't make it past those guys. And if the Bills' mindset is defensive end, then they're going to go after him, and they have to trade up with either Jacksonville or Pittsburgh to get there.
So you're saying trade up 4 or 5 spots to get in. What's that equivalent to, Scott? Do you know offhand?
It's equivalent to trading your 5th round and next year's possible 3rd round will get you up 5 spots.
Do it. Right.
And I know they take a lot of value in their 3rd round picks and all that stuff. But like I'm saying, if they, and this is the mindset, if I'm the Buffalo Bills and I know I want the number 1 defensive end in the league, and my mindset says he is it ahead of those other 2 guys, they would have to do it, and they'd be dumb not to. But like I said, I'm not McDermott. But Jalen Phillips, he's got everything you need in a defensive end with not a lot of training.
And he's a hybrid of the Watt brothers.
Yes.
Donnie Buckner, welcome to the show. Go Bills.
What up, Donnie?
Only hold on him. He had concussions in the past, and people are worried that he's 1 hit away from being out of the league.
All right. And that's with a lot of players, but yeah.
You got Mitch Morse that's on that list, right?
Right.
All right. I'm going to throw out this name, Scott. I'm pretty sure you probably know who this guy is. You mentioned Epinesa earlier. He played for Iowa. I have another Iowa guy, 6'3", 305 pounds. Davion Nixon. Now, here's a guy that if you watch play, Phantomonium, if you get the chance to look up this guy, Davion Nixon, look him up. He's got a heck of a story. He's a kid that had trouble getting out of high school. He was a good prospect in high school. He barely made the grades. He got out. Instead of going right to a D1 school, he played JUCO ball for 2 years. He works hard. His dad's proud of him. It's a great little video. Then he went to Iowa. He's very instinctive. He's quick for his size, and he plays Madden. So I had to throw that in there.
That's why you got him in there.
Davion Nixon is a guy. It's a humbling story that I'd like to see come and play for the Buffalo Bills, and he's an Iowa guy. Iowa has defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take on him. Scott,
I know he started as a defensive end and gained that weight, and he is pretty productive. He would be a later round, but he would be somebody you can grab in the later rounds. I have 4 right now defensive edge rushers, and I'm talking 4-3. I know Joseph Osai, and Olajuria are defensive ends that people get a lot of want on the team, but they're 3-4 outside linebackers, so I wouldn't consider them edge rushers. But defensive tackles, there's only 2 I can see going in the first round: Lee McNeil and the guy from Alabama, Barmore. So the Iowa guy could be 3rd, 4th round if we don't address the defensive line in the first or second.
All right, so let's approach the edge a little bit here. That's what you're just on. The guy I really liked was Jason Owa. Is that how you pronounce his name? From Penn State University, another defensive strong school, 6'5", 257. This guy ran a 4.3 640. He's a freak athlete. He has very good leverage from the film I've seen. He's quick around the corner. He's got great pursuit. He uses that speed if something gets by on the catch up. Jason Owa. You know anything about that man?
Penn State, I have him going 18th to Miami. I don't see him getting the 20th. Explosive. Thing with him, he's new to football in 2016, so he's got a lot to learn still. So it's someone that they're going to have to take and kind of progress and develop.
That doesn't sound like a very good situation for Miami right now.
Nope.
They need people that can come in there and start to turn that whole thing around.
I agree. Yeah, Miami's defensive edges need someone that needs to perform right now, and they can't afford that the developed player. They're not like the Bills anymore. We were saying that last year.
Yeah.
They were kind of creating a team like us, and it just they've fallen off the rocker in that regard.
Well, yeah, I mean it's really the whole way they handled the Tua thing, and to me that just translates to like, so you could do that with every rookie you have on the roster. Like, they start to misperform and you bench them, and then they don't ever get to know what it feels like to lose a game.
Right.
I want to touch on Carlos Basham Jr. from Wake Forest. This guy, he was one of the first guys that you wrote something up in the mock draft and who we could get. He's a monster, 6'5", 275. His nickname's Boogie. He has a lot of fire and he's a guy that sees an opening and goes. Now, I don't know how that's going to transition from the NCAA to NFL, but if he's doing it now, there's no reason why he can't learn to do it in the NFL too. Scott, you have anything else on Carlos Basham Jr.?
I did a mock on him earlier in the year. I did a little thing on potential 30th. He can still, if the defensive ends go quicker than I think they will, he'll be someone that's available for a later first round pick. But Carlos Basham, Peyton Turner from Houston, he played 2 years with Ed Oliver over there. He will be available in the 2nd, 3rd round. And there's a guy from Pitt, Rashad Weaver, who potentially could be available. What I'm looking at here is there's depth. There's a lot of depth in defense this year. And whether or not you think the Bills should go after defensive line or linebacker or corner, if they don't address that in the first round, there's going to be someone available in the 2nd, 3rd.
Right. And I don't know if everybody heard my dog in the background, but she agrees with us. Through and through. I'm sorry about that.
She's agreeing with everything, it sounds like.
All right, so that only leaves one more position for us to attack a little bit here, and that is the linebacking core. The guy I had my eyes on for a couple. There she is again. Hi.
Are you going to bring her to the draft party?
She might be there. Scott, take over the linebackers quick.
Yeah, I only see 2-3 linebackers going in that first round. Micah Parsons from Penn State. Swanky, 6'3", 240 pounds. His knack is coverage. So if the Bills are looking for someone, if they're looking for inside linebacker, outside linebacker, it appears the Bills' position for outside linebacker, Milano, is someone that can cover. And so Micah Parsons wouldn't be someone that the Bills would go after. I have him going early 12th for the Eagles anyways. He's a great tackler, though. Downhill wrecking balls, a lot of things that I'm seeing from him. Notre Dame's got a guy, Jeremiah Koromoa, 6'1", 216, bit light. And if a team drafts him to be a linebacker, I think they're in the wrong. He's someone that can transition to a safety. And then Nick Bolton from Missouri, 6 foot, 232 pounds. great reads. He's a reading linebacker. He's also good at tackles. So I don't see any of those guys falling to 30. Nick Bolton might make it there, but I don't think he'll be someone that the Bills absolutely need. A guy I have, and I know Jared, you're a fan of,
Collins.
Yeah, Zaven Collins. Real quick, if you want to tell me why you like him, and then I'll tell you why I like him. And I think we'll have pretty different opinions, but positive nonetheless. Swank, I don't know if you read my Zaven Collins post from a couple weeks ago, but I had him potentially us getting him. A great linebacker out of Tulsa, 6'5", 260 pounds, big guy. I mean, him and Edmonds in the middle would be huge. No, but when they signed Milano, I kind of pushed that to the side. But he'd be someone I have a reason why the Bills could go after him here. After Jared tells us why he likes him.
Well, I like him. 6'4". How big did you say he was? I say 6'4", 260.
Well, 6'4". He's like 6'4" and 3/4. So you know he's 6'5". So he's a big boy.
All right, he's freakish linebacker in college. He's compared to a Brian Urlacher, instinctual, quick learner. The only when someone says, so I thought about this today. When someone compares a linebacker to Brian Urlacher, Hall of Fame linebacker from the Chicago Bears, he played in a different era, even though it was just 15 years ago. He was more of a linebacker that was there to stuff the run. Do you know what I mean? And be there to stuff up the middle. Now that this league has changed, like I said, it's always good to be compared to one of these Hall of Fame linebackers, but when the league's changed, you don't really want to anymore. But he still does fly to the ball. I've seen him have good coverage on tight ends and running backs coming out of the backfield. If we got our 2021 version of Brian Urlacher with him, I'll take it.
I love Urlacher's attitude.
Yes.
That dude was brutal. So.
Yep, and that's that quick learner too. You know,
so
great leader.
If we took a linebacker first, it would obviously be to develop, right? Someday, possibly. I guess I don't see the value in a first round linebacker right now, just because they would be a backup, like right now, right? I do see the value in somebody who could replace either Milano or Edmonds if they went out, because we ran into that last year. So I would guess I got a 2-part question for the panel. Out of those two,
the piano,
out of those two type of players, which Milano's very evidently a cover linebacker, right? And Edmonds is more of a thumper, run stopper, blitzer, that kind of thing. Out of those two types, and with their injury history in mind, which type of linebacker should we try to go for to back which one of those guys up?
That's a good point. If you got that run stopping linebacker in the middle, Edmonds, but you have to also have the ability to drop back in the zone a little bit deep down the field, I would say, personally, I think it's possibly easier to fill that position, especially if he's only there for running. Do you know what I mean? For stopping the run and being a presence in there. So I feel like that could be an easier spot to fill. Where the challenge comes is trying to find a guy who has the ability to drop into the flats or cover a quick guy coming over the middle, or drop back in between a cornerback and a safety dropping in their thirds. So a lot more responsibility, I think, with the outside guys than there is in the inside guys, even though for the inside guy, you do have to have that leadership and know what you're calling and what plays to pick and where to put people. You got to have more of a cognitive aspect of it, but you have to have more of the movement ability on the outside. So I feel like the middle linebacker would be easy to replace. So that's my opinion. So I think the more of the outside linebacker-ish type players you can get that are talented, I think the better off you'll be.
So you're going that coverage linebacker, like a Milano type? Yeah.
Yep.
There's one of those in the draft.
Yeah.
Who is it?
They can get in the 3rd and 4th round. Jared knows who it is. Guy by the name of Chaz Surratt, North Carolina.
Right. NC. Yep.
Guy used to be a quarterback. He knows schemes. He knows defenses. He's quick. He's instinctive. Great pass defense. He's a developmental Matt Milano. So even if the Bills, and this is where I wanted to talk about Zaven Collins, he's 6'4", 6'5", 260 pounds. You know who else is that big on the Buffalo Bills?
Edmonds?
Our defensive ends.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I'm going back this whole draft, develop, and sign thing. He's got that run stopping ability. He's an outside linebacker. His specialty is blitz packages. So he knows how to put the helmet on a tackle and a running back trying to pass block for him. So you take that size guy, and he's a perfect size that the Bills like at their defensive ends. You take that outside linebacker and make him a defensive end, I think you win. I think you win in that situation. And when I say that, I also leave the option open for the Bills to go in the 3rd and 4th round and grab another outside linebacker in Chaz Surratt. Someone you can develop to be a Milano type player. Because if Milano goes out, we have Klein, and Klein is more that caveman, put my head down, go
ball, get ball.
Yep, see ball, get ball. So if you want somebody in the NFL draft right now that's going to replace a Milano, it's going to be Chaz Surratt. If you want somebody right now that's going to replace an Edmonds, I think that's definitely a Micah Parsons, but I don't see him coming. I don't see him making it to the Buffalo Bills. Jabril Cox, Jamin Davis are two guys from LSU and Kentucky. Good size linebackers, more of an outside linebacker kind of frame, but they're big-bodied guys that have a lot of experience in their collegiate team. They could also be late-round picks, 3rd, 4th picks that could pick up that linebacker position if we don't address it in the first couple of rounds.
Chris Christian's got a good point. He said he guessed that it depends on if they keep Edmonds in the future. For right now, I would say Edmonds had two, his rookie season – that was very strong for a rookie. His second season, which was strong, and then this last one where he was banged up, right? I mean, so I would look for him to come out swinging this year. I don't think that he's lost a step. I think that shoulder completely just pinned a wing behind his back for a good half to 3/4 of the season.
Yeah, even when he returned, he wasn't 100%. That's for sure.
And I think that he came back to closer to full strength towards the end, and definitely in the playoff push and stuff like that. So don't write Edmonds off just because of this year. I mean, an injury can happen to anybody. I think he's really gonna be exactly who he was when we started this season.
And he put out a notice too earlier this year.
Yeah,
he put out a notice saying, "I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming." So.
Good.
I mean, he's a Pro Bowler, 2-time Pro Bowler. I mean, last year wasn't as good as the year prior, but
hell yeah, he's brutal.
Hey.
He picked up the defense play call from being a rookie. I mean, he's so young and he's so good.
Was he 22, 23?
I mean, no, he's not. He's got to be 22 right
Yeah.
now, right? Because he turned 21. I think he turned 21 last year. They were joking around about him being able to finally buy a beer or whatever. He's a brute, man. It was just bad luck having him and Milano go out, and we still won all those games. Imagine if Milano was healthy that whole season. You know what I mean? Because that was a very obvious part of the field. That's definitely what got him that contract this year. You know what I mean? They needed a player exactly like him. So.
And that's why I say watch the 3rd, 4th round. Chaz Surratt get picked up because he looks like a Milano. Doesn't Jared? You've seen his film.
Yeah.
He looks that part. He flies around. Like I said, he's a quarterback and he's fast. So he's got the not saying linebackers are dumb, but quarterbacks, there's a lot more on the plate as far as reading coverages and all that stuff. So now he's part of those coverages, so he understands it. So
I guess
you guys.
As far as my line of thinking goes, those two guys are young enough to where I wish that they would address the depth, quality depth at that in free agency, either this year or next year. Preferably next year if you're going to draft some guy in 3rd, 4th round and develop him a little bit and then sort it out, bring some people in for Klein and, Makatovich to think about. Makatovich is going to be on the team regardless as long as
special teams.
Yeah, with special teams. But Klein, I mean, he kind of came into his own. I mean, he was a laughing stock for a good amount of games, and then all of a sudden he came on like a fury. As soon as they let him start getting after the quarterback a little bit, he was good. So it'll be interesting.
So Scott, Swank, you both mentioned the fact that Edmonds and Milano have been, battling injuries last year, especially. What's the percentage you see the Buffalo Bills going after a round 1 linebacker and a round 3 with Surratt? Do you think that's a possibility at all?
I could see the first round 3 and 4 as
That's when you
as
linebackers.
linebacker. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I
Now
might have
keep
to
in
write
mind
this
they
down.
signed Markel Lee,
Yeah.
Right,
and
that's
they
right.
that Tyrell, I can't remember his last name. Tyrell
Dodson.
the linebacker.
Dodson.
No, Tyrell Dotson's already on the team. The guy they pulled in from Houston, he was a starter. We talked about him last week, but remember I
Oh,
said
yeah.
those two would be the backups for these for the middle line.
Those two starters. Yeah, those two starters will be the backup.
Yeah, so they've already addressed the linebacker position.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting. I mean, you still got to fill the roster up for preseason, so it should be fun.
All right, couple more minutes, everybody. Leave a comment. You're in the drawing for this Donte Whitner autographed card. And obviously, when you win, we'll send one of these too.
There you go.
24/7 Buff Fandemonium card
yeah.
sticker. Leave a comment. You'll be put on the wheel of Fandemonium Wizardry. Destiny.
Wizardry?
We'll spin it, and we'll let everybody know the winner tomorrow.
It's a wizard sleep.
Wizard.
Well, since we're talking about defense and draft, I got broad shoulders. Hey, you can knock me for this, but I can
here
see
we
the
go.
Bills. I can see the Buffalo Bills. My dream for the draft would be a Jalen Phillips in the first, and somewhere picking up like a Rashad Weaver or another defensive end in the third or fourth. Keep in mind, Epinesa is a rookie, and opposite side of him is Hughes, who's getting old, Addison, who's getting old. So they gotta address this edge position, and they're deep this year in the draft. So I don't doubt at all that we see 2 edges maybe go in the first 4 rounds.
I'm great with that, man. They need to start getting younger. And like you said, they started last year. They got some guys that depth-wise, kind of stepped up and showed some flashes here and there. But it's very apparent that like they need to start turning that tide. So, yeah, man, I'd be great with 2 defensive ends, especially if they got your boy in the first and then hit it again later on. I'm all about that. You got 3 young bodies, 2 with first round talent this year, second round talent last year, and Epinesa was supposed to be a first round talent, but for whatever reason fell. So yeah, I mean, I think they're playing it smart. It would be really nice if everything worked out the way we wanted it to work out and Star came in and then everything just clicked and you're like, oh, this is what it was supposed to be like last year. There's a lot of skeptics saying that like he's not the reason, whatever. But I'm still on that train, man. He takes up 2 blockers. Eddie O on that interview saying how much of a big difference it was without him in there and having to learn a new position and all this stuff. And I don't know. I think you get consistent play from those interior linemen, you might see a whole different side of this defensive line.
This defense all together.
Yeah.
So, guys, I'll ask you a question. I know we're talking about this year's draft, but from last year's draft, knowing what Dane Jackson was able to do and the fact that now he's going to have the opportunity to be a starter consistently, and then knowing what A.J. Epinesa had to do to become what he is now. I mean, he had to drop 25 pounds. The Bills wanted to mold him into the defensive end that they wanted. And now that he's had a 4 or 5 games at that weight and a full off season at that weight, he can, that's 20, 30 pounds for defensive end that's been working at 280 pounds his whole career and doing the things he did at 280 pounds. Now he's got this full off season to condition and work on his moves at that weight. Who are you most excited about, Dane Jackson or A.J. Epinesa?
Joey Hatch mentioned that too. He said Epinesa had no off season to participate or practice with these guys. So great point. But yes, I'll let Swank, you lead the way.
I got to go, I guess, with Epinesa. And I think it's just because we saw more of him. They were letting him get his reps here and there. Those first couple of games where he was in the lineup, the guy's got wheels, man. He can get back there. He just, I think we were talking about last week, he's like that puppy where his back legs are going faster than his front. You know what I mean? And it just seemed like
zoomy.
If he can control that and focus that, and he did a couple times. He got screwed over on that sack, right, with the or what? No, he got hit with a late hit or something, or QB hit, right? And finally getting home and doing whatever. There's just a couple circumstances, and like that's all growing pains. He was a rookie. I just think if he's honed in, he's got a lot to prove, and I think that he could, with that rotation, be a force to reckon with, and that's what they need off that edge, man. They need some kind of speedy guy to like get there and land it. So yeah, I'm really excited about him.
Flying last year towards the end of the season, flying.
Yeah, and it was starting to make sense and click. The game was starting to slow down a little bit for him, but I mean, with the rotation they do and the way, you know, they're making a playoff push, they're in the playoffs, like I can't even imagine what like the rubric looks like for like, okay, well, this is like your schedule for these games, and then we're going to judge how well you're doing, and then we're going to let you play this many snaps, and then we're going to judge, and like, oh, now we're in the playoffs, so like, sorry, kid, like you're going to get in situationally where we can get you in, and then, you know, I don't know, who knows like what that whole system's like, but I think this year, man, he's proven already, like you said, he dropped 30 pounds when he was only supposed to drop 20 or 25, right? He came in ready. He's they say that he picks everything up. He's learning. He does everything extra, you know? So I think that he's gonna kick ass this year. I think he's gonna at least get in there a couple times and make a scene. But I will say, Dane Jackson, dude, I am rooting for him so hard. He should be the next mayor of Buffalo, like practice squad, Duke Williams, Jordan Phillips kind of warrior guy that everybody's rooting for, because man, like you look at like some of those clips, like I ran through and watched some of the highlights from the games last year, and anytime he was in the lineup, something happened around him. Like he made some play, you know, swatted that ball down in the end zone, like, you know, like I don't know, I think that's gonna be super interesting. It'd be really curious to see like what he's done in the off season and what he looks like coming back, you know, and hopefully they have like a full, you know, mini camps and training.
Maybe
camp
he comes back like your boy Bruce Smith, and he's only 2% body fat, and he's just a beast.
Hey, remember Bruce Smith got over 300 pounds because he was eating and getting chunky. I like him chunker.
Scott, don't mind me asking, but what was the question again before? What did you ask?
Who are you looking more forward to, Dane Jackson or AJ Epinez's progress? Who do you think is going to be the bigger star this year?
All right, so my opinion on this is, again, like Swing touched on, Dane Jackson is one of those players who you just want to root for. But I'm really excited to see what Epineza, again, what he's done in the offseason, what he's going to bring to the field. We're going to learn quick within the first couple games of, this is what I'm hoping. Epineza comes in with a new fire, where he's always had the fire, but he's got a knowledgeable fire now, control of his body. Star Latulier back in the front, or whatever guy they pick up that's going to fill that void that has Star Latulier type, you know, attributes. And it starts from the front and it works its way back. So I'm excited to see what Epineza can do. I'm hopeful, and I'm pretty confident that he's going to blow up this year. And that linebacking core is just going to increase. Can you imagine having a speed guy that's wreaking havoc on the outside, and then somebody in the middle that's wreaking havoc there? That's going to open up the linebackers blitz and the safeties blitz and the corners blitz. And so we're going to go from middle of the road defense to top five. And yeah, it's going to be fun to watch number 57. You're going to see a lot of jerseys being sold at about November, December time of year, because this guy's going to be maybe, you know, I'm hoping maybe player of the year, defensive player of the year.
I'm hearing a lot of bold predictions, and we haven't even gotten into that part of this show.
This kid's exciting. Just the way he ended the year last year, you saw him flying around the edge. Now he's got film that he can study for the whole offseason. He's got an actual offseason that he can participate and learn some more of the good stuff. Last year, I forgot who holds a defensive tackle, Hall of Famer. He holds a clinic. Epineza did a Zoom video or whatever that he went to that just to learn the techniques and what other NFL superstars are doing. So
John Randall.
Yeah, he wants to know the game, and it's exciting. And he comes from Iowa, which is a defensive breeding college. So it's going to be I'm very excited to see Dane Jackson, how he progresses, but I'm also very excited to see Epineza step up and do something that our defensive line really hasn't had to do or been able to do the last couple of years.
So I got something talking about the defensive studs, right? How about offensive rookies last year between Zach Moss and Gabe Davis? Who had more of an impact?
Who had more of an impact last year, or who's going to have more of an impact
Who
this
had
year?
more last year? Who's going to have more this year?
All right, well,
Two-parter.
two-parter. So Gabe Davis came in and what do you have, 50 catches for 700 yards or something like that? He led the team in touchdowns, so he did very well. He was a good target. He learned a lot from Stephon Diggs and Beasley and all those guys, so he's going to just have another year built on top of that. But I have a feeling, and I was thinking that this was going to happen last year, that Zach Moss would have taken over the running back number one spot. So Gabe Davis last year had a bigger impact, but I think this year, in year two, I think Zach Moss is going to be our number one running back. So I'm thinking, he might be 1,000-yard rusher this year. Another bold prediction.
Oh,
But
Man.
he's going to be our guy.
It's a homer.
And like I said,
Right.
he's got another year under his belt. And
Right.
so, Zach Moss.
What do you think, Scott?
I agree. Gabe Davis was pretty impactful last year. The toe drag swag, the important catches. He made a name for himself in the best ways you could as a wide receiver, the number 4 wide receiver on a team. But on a passing team, splitting carries, almost 500 yards rushing for Zach Moss, 4.3 yards a carry. As much as I love Gabe Davis and he's done so much, I'll give Gabe Davis the ticket for last year, but this year I think it's going to be Zach Moss. I was going to ask a question as far as both offensively and defensively, who you're most excited about. And Zach Moss is someone you have to be excited about. 500 yards rushing for a team that passed the ball a whole lot, and he was number 2. Zach, and a whole other year under his belt. So Zach Moss is exciting. If Gabe Davis can do what he did last year, that's totally amazing. But I agree with Jared. I don't think it's going to be quite 1,000 yards because we don't run the ball that often. But he will be a force to be reckoned with at that running back 1 position. I think he takes over Singletary's spot this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think Zach's going to be the number 1. And my bold prediction at the beginning of this offseason into the season here is that Motor might not even be on the team.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, I think it was easier for Gabe to get his feet wet and to get into rotation last year because John Brown was hurt. They had a vacancy in general after Diggs and Bees for who was going to be that number 3. You had McKenzie thrown in there. So I think it was a lot easier for him to get his reps. This year, it's not going to be. You got Emmanuel Sanders, you got Bees, you got Diggs, you got Isaiah McKenzie, you got a lot more going on. I think that he'll get rotated in. I think that he'll get his fair share of shots, but he's not going to have as big an impact as Zach Moss is. And I'm going to lean towards what Jared's saying with the 1,000-yard season just because, to me, it's not that the Bills don't run a lot, right? Because we know they're a pass-first team. It's what you do with those opportunities. And if you're breaking off big runs, I see him not morphing into exactly like a Derrick Henry kind of type, but I think that he's the perfect combination of like a Marshawn Lynch and a Frank Gore, where he could be chunking out bigger yardage, moving the pile, making more out of his runs. And that might be the ticket to him reaching 1,000 yards with less carries.
I mean, the Bills had 1,800 rushing yards last year.
Yeah.
So if they cut back on the Allen runs and they do lean a little more heavy on Zach Moss, that can definitely happen.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm going back to my mock draft and the critique I'm getting. Everyone thinks the Bills need to get a running back. Najee Harris does not fit the Bills scheme. Travis Etienne, he may be a benefit in Buffalo, but I don't see them going after running back, especially since they signed Breida. And especially since you guys need to give Zach Moss a chance with what he did last year with his limited touches and the 4.3 yards a carry. A year without the big play ability of the 15-plus yard rushes can be swept away with a year of 10 or 12 of those. So you just give the guy a chance. It was his first year last year. Now he's got a full year under his belt. Running backs, believe it or not, in the first year they're in the NFL, the most stress of a running back is not the fact that they know where to run the ball. They are graded so hard on being able to pass protect.
Pass block, yeah.
And a lot of their focus becomes pass protection. So the fact that Moss was still able to get the amount of yards he did and the average that he did and still be able to pick up those blitzes, it's only going to get better. So you need to give our third round draft pick from last year a chance.
Yeah.
You can't give up on him so early. They're not going to draft a first round running back after drafting 2 third rounders in the previous years. Not going to happen.
Right.
If I'm wrong, I will apologize to everybody that told me they're going to get a running back in the first round. I will apologize, but it's not going to happen. Like Steve Tasker said, stop it. Stop it.
All right,
I'm not going to get a running back.
Joey Hatch says, we got a lot of running backs in their stable right now. I think it's going to push them to run harder. It definitely is. Guys, I just want to throw this out there, too. I made a mistake. Davis had 35 catches for 599 yards and 7 touchdowns. Also, Zach Moss, it's easy for me to say he's going to get 1,000 yards rushing this year because they added another game, 17 games. So 1,000 yards isn't going to be the benchmark anymore. It's probably going to be like 1,100 or 1,200. But in order to hit the 1,000-yard mark, he needs to average 59 yards a game rushing.
Okay.
So, like you said, Swank, he makes a business decision on one play and he takes off for 40 yards. He only needs 20 more for 5 carries.
Yeah, and I think that's reasonable. And to be honest, I don't know what the issue was last year. We talked about like O-line play and that kind of thing. I think I don't know. It was a little bit of an anomaly. Anomaly?
Are you trying to say monopoly?
Monopoly?
That 10%'s kicking in, isn't it?
It's getting there, dude. Anomaly as far as like whose fault was it? The running backs or the O-line? Because in pass protection, the O-line was doing great. And then Josh could move the pocket, blah, 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 all that stuff. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I blame it more on Singletary's not that fast, and Moss was a rookie. That's what I think. But we'll see.
Here we go. Then welcome, Breida.
Welcome
Season 2, Episode
Breida.
6 is almost over.
Well,
Get
tell
your
them
last
about
comment
our
in.
draft party again, buddy.
Last comment,
Go,
guys.
Scott.
Guys, here's a real quick thing, and this is quick. You don't have to go into explanation. We got 3 weeks until our draft. April 29th, we're having a draft party, 7 o'clock, guys. Come on in, make the phone call. We're going to let you know all the details, but it's going to be I can't believe they took this guy. Now this guy's still available. Bills are going to get this guy. What are we going to do? But 3 weeks away, what does your heart tell you? Who are we getting at 30? Who do you want? No, not who do you want. Who are we getting at 30? Just throw out a name.
Are you waiting for the Fandemonium or for us?
I'm waiting for you two.
So we're not getting anybody at 30. That's my bold prediction.
Trading back.
We're trading up.
Up.
I think Bean is like he's got his ass chapped about the fact that he did not have a first round pick, and you might be looking at 2 first round picks this year. That's just Swank's nice little bold prediction.
It's almost like we did that a couple years ago to get Allen at Edmonds.
Almost.
You
But
almost
it's been
did.
what? Almost 4 years since that
2
happened.
first rounders. Okay.
Time. It's time.
I also agree with you. I don't think we will be getting a 30th pick. Out of all the mock drafts I've done, I think honestly, in my heart, and remember, don't lose sleep over this, guys, because I'm going to say it. I feel, because I've done the research, and I feel that the best thing the Bills should do is my last mock draft. They will trade up and get the Jalen Phillips.
I'm okay with that, man.
Right now, I feel that. Jared, what are you doing?
Okay.
Jared's entering. Who is the top pick in 2021?
Do I want to pick? I tell you what, if I can see us trading up to getting somebody that we want, and it's not going to be a running back or a receiver or a quarterback. It's going to be either a top-notch offensive lineman or a defensive lineman. And I can't wait to see what happens.
It's gonna be me.
It's gonna be me.
gonna be
Can't believe I
me.
just did that.
All right, very good. Thanks, guys.
All right, everybody, thank you for participating tonight. If you left a comment, you will be on the Fandemonium Wheel of Fortune or Destiny for this Donte Whitner autographed. We will spin the wheel tomorrow, and we'll let everybody know who the winner is. Also, we have 24/7 Buff Fandemonium shirts that Scott's doing over there. We have them left. Personal message us your size, and Venmo information is on the bottom. Let us know what you want. And Scott's happy because he's got the official Buffalo Bills draft.
I got my draft hat today.
Look at him.
Party
Look at
time.
me. Look at
Excellent.
me, I got it. Scott, any closing thoughts?
April 29th, NFL Draft Party, 24/7. K-Gun Report is hosting. Phone calls coming in, food, booze, good time. We can have our ups, we can have our lows, we can have our laughs. Watch the Jets pick up someone that we totally didn't think they would. But no, it's all going to be, we're going to be paying attention to what the Bills could potentially get based on the picks, the 31, the 29 before them. Come join us. The event is out. Just join.
And I'm going to quickly add to that. Bring your friends along with you. Like we did, like we mentioned last week, this is the draft for 32 football teams. Have your buddies call in, you call in, whatever team you're rooting for, give us your predictions. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm gonna add to that. You're giving away autographed Andre Reed mini helmet, correct?
Yep.
So you have a 3 to 4 hour window to just comment while we're sitting there hashing out the draft and talking Bills football and joking around, have some drinks. You could win an Andre Reed signed mini helmet. That's
COA
nuts.
too.
For nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. You just come hang out. That's it. Nutty.
You're going to be watching the draft anyways. Just punch
pop
our
us
number in.
on, say hi. That's all.
Just don't call us ordering food. You won't get it.
No, man. No.
Unless you want
We
to
got
order
our
us
own
food, we'll give you the
Yo,
address.
what are we
if you
doing?
want
We
to
doing
deliver.
wings? Pizza and wings?
We got to do wings. We got to do pizza and wings.
Hell yeah. All right. Pizza, wings, and IPAs and a call-in the next day. That's what's happening.
Let's see this. All right.
Hey, anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with us. And if you want to join us, you can do so every Tuesday night from 8 to 8:45, 9-ish, 9:12-ish p.m. On Facebook Live for the K-Gun Report. If you can't catch us live, you can also catch up on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor. And episodes will be caught up shortly. I've just been real damn busy. So,
You've been a busy boy.
thanks so much for coming and hanging out. We love you guys. Win a football card. Go Bills.
Go Bills. All right. We'll see everybody again next week. Same time, 8 o'clock. K-Gun Report, episode 7. We don't know what we're going to chat about yet. We're going to talk about the past week stuff that happened from now till then. And then we might put a poll out there to see what everybody wants to talk about. That'd be something cool, too. All right. We'll see you.
I got some ideas.
Got some ideas. See you next week, 8 o'clock. Sounds good. Until then, be safe out there. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills!
This is a dangerous group.